Well, hey there, and welcome to Wedding Planning Simplified. I hope you're having an awesome week so far. I'm Amy from Unmistakably You, and thank you as always for joining us here. We go live every week. It has in the past been on Sunday afternoons, but we've now switched to Wednesday evenings. And our hope is that we can speak to some issues that you may be experiencing in your wedding planning and hopefully help to alleviate some stress. We know that it's a busy time. You presumably probably have a career and a life, and you're juggling all of the things. And wedding planning can seem a little bit overwhelming and daunting. So we are here to try and help you to navigate all of those difficult issues so that hopefully the planning seems a little bit less stressful and you can get to the wedding day still hopefully happy and sane and in love. So thank you for joining us tonight. Tonight we are here to talk about Aunt Sally and Uncle Bob. And I know that you might have an Aunt Sally and Uncle Bob, but I'm not talking about your literal Aunt Sally and Uncle Bob. I'm talking about your figurative Aunt Sally and Uncle Bob. And let's be honest, everybody has one. You have the mother-in-law who knows best. You have an actual aunt and uncle who are going to meddle with things because they have better ideas than anyone else. You have a bridesmaid who's been married before and she knows exactly what she's doing. You have someone who is likely to try and get involved somehow in the wedding day and potentially take things into their own hands and mess shit up. You know it's going to happen. And despite our best intentions and their best intentions, these people, Aunt Sally and Uncle Bob, who jump in and start to take things into their own hands, can really unintentionally derail your wedding day. And we are hopeful that we can help you to anticipate some of these potential issues and hopefully prevent them from happening. The reality of it is that everybody is, like I said, really well-intentioned, but emotions run high on a wedding day. Everyone is really involved, sort of mentally, emotionally, supportively. They love you. They want you to have a great day, and they want to help. And sometimes this meddling comes from a feeling of helplessness or not being able to be useful. Sometimes it comes from someone just sort of seeing something that needs to be done and trying to solve a problem, although it might be in a way that you wouldn't have solved it if you had a choice. Nobody ever means to do anything that's going to mess up your wedding day, but sometimes unintentionally they do. So the goal is that if you can apply two simple principles, then hopefully we can avoid people effing things up on your wedding day. And you can sit back and relax and know that you've done everything you possibly can to have the smoothest day possible. So those two things that you can do are to anticipate and to communicate. Because if you can possibly anticipate the kinds of things that might go wrong and the kinds of people that might mess them up, then you're already halfway to solving and preventing that problem. The kinds of problems I'm talking about are things like Uncle Bob taking off to the bar and missing family photos, or your bridesmaid reorganizing your welcome table because she knows how to do it better, or your stepmom taking over the mic and inserting herself into the speeches when she hasn't been on the schedule, or maybe mother-in-law chooses a better song than the one that you chose for the mother-son dance. All of these things are things that can happen, that I've seen happen. And generally speaking, we try to anticipate the kinds of people who might do these things and then communicate with them before the day of the wedding to prevent them from happening. So in terms of anticipation, you know your people, you know the kind of things they're going to do, you know the kinds of shit they're going to try and pull. So try to anticipate the potential for disaster and then put somebody in charge of averting that disaster. So maybe you want to talk to your cousins and say, hey, can you just kind of keep an eye on Aunt Sally and Uncle Bob and make sure that they behave themselves? Maybe you have to have like a bouncer who keeps an eye to make sure that those cousins who have tensions between them. Don't sit at the same table, don't get in the same vicinity. Maybe you need to have someone keep them apart. Maybe you need to have somebody keep an eye on that bridesmaid. Maybe ask your maid of honor to keep an eye on that bridesmaid who knows how to do everything better than you do. Put somebody in charge of clearing the card box so that Aunt Sally doesn't try to do it, because I have been there. There's that moment where I go to clear the card box because that's something we do at weddings, and there's nothing in it. And I'm like, oh, dear God, what happened to the cards? And Aunt Sally has them in her purse because she thinks she's being helpful. So have somebody in charge of wrangling the family for the family photos and keeping an eye on Aunt Sally so she doesn't mess up the place cards and rearrange people at dinner. Have somebody keeping an eye out for that groomsman who is absolutely going to get wasted and embarrass himself in front of everybody. Try to anticipate, and then hopefully you can put some systems in place to try and prevent any potential issues that might occur. The second thing to do is to communicate. I'm always a huge fan of over communication in advance of the event so that hopefully people know that there's a plan in place, and then they feel less inclined to try to take things into their own hands. The reason that Aunt Sally is clearing the card box is because she doesn't think anybody else is doing it. And the reason that your mother-in-law is choosing a better song for the first dance with her son is because she doesn't know the song that's actually been chosen. So communication is so important before the event. So the best thing you can possibly do is talk to your family, let them know, hey, you're part of the extended family, Aunt Sally and Uncle Bob, so I need you to stick around after the ceremony for 20 minutes so that we can get some family photos. Let your cousins, your aunts, your uncles, your grandparents, anybody that's in those extended family photos, let them know to stick around. Just shoot them a quick text or a quick email or give them a quick call the week before the wedding so that there's no question when the officiant says, extended family, please remain for photos. Uncle Bob's like, no, that doesn't mean me. I'm going for a whiskey soda. They know that it means them and that they do need to stick around. Tell your vendors, let your catering manager know if you think someone is likely to mess with your seating plan. If you know that Aunt Sally is notorious for trying to rearrange the place cards so that she doesn't get stuck next to Cousin Marge, tell your catering manager. Let them know that that's likely to happen and to keep an eye out for it. Tell your wedding planner. If you think that Aunt Sally is going to do that, or if you think that drunk groomsman is going to try and give a speech, pardon me, let your wedding planner know so that they can look out for it, so that they can stop it in its tracks. If you know that someone's likely to try to request songs that you don't want or to change up first dance songs, talk to your DJ. Let them know that somebody, mother-in-law maybe, is likely to try and come up with a better first dance song. Let your DJ know that you do not want any changes to that approved song list that you've given him or her. Let everybody know that there's a plan. Share your itinerary. Talk your family through the plan the week before. Maybe you go to family dinner the week before and you just kind of talk through the game plan for the day. Talk to your wedding party at your rehearsal. It's a great opportunity to just kind of talk through the main points of the day to make sure that nobody has any questions. Because like I said, nobody's intending to screw up your day. Nobody's malicious. Nobody's trying to fuck things up on you, but try to just kind of understand that they're trying to help. And because they don't know the real plan, they think that they are helping. So keep everybody in the loop, anticipate potential issues, communicate the actual game plan to everyone in advance, and have some people on the lookout for things that are going awry, namely your vendors, your wedding planner, but also your wedding party, your maid of honor, and your best man are in your corner to make sure that the day goes as smoothly as it can, especially if you don't have a wedding planner. So anticipate, communicate, and hopefully Aunt Sally and Uncle Bob will behave themselves. They'll stay in their lane and they will have a great day, just like you will. So, as always, if you have any questions or thoughts, or if you want to connect in any way, don't hesitate to reach out. If you're catching us on the replay, shoot us a comment on the video. If you come up with any questions or anything that resonates with you, send me an email, amy@unmistakably.you.com. I'm always happy to help out. And please don't hesitate to join us next Wednesday when I'll be here with Rebecca talking about how to make sure your wedding photos don't suck, which is really important because you know what? At the end of the day, after those flowers die and the day is all wrapped up, all you have left are your photos. So make sure that they are great. We will see you here next Wednesday at 8 o'clock to talk about that. Until then, enjoy your week and happy planning. Bye-bye.